Good morning, everyone. Today is January 6th, and I wanted to do one video before I got on the plane. I'm headed to Florida. It's going to snow tonight, so I'm getting out of town. Anyway, the weather has turned colder here after a very mild November and December. Just 3 days ago, overnight, we went from 50 degrees down to consistent 30s and teens in the evening. So all of the mud is crunchy and frozen now, but that's okay. This is how it's supposed to be. And I think we're going to get about 3 to 4 inches of snow tonight, which won't bother me because I'll be in Florida, so. Anyway, I wanted to do one thing before I left because when I get back, we're going to start planting seeds already. So I wanted to talk about seeds. Now, my typical gardening year looks like winter, I did nothing. Now, perhaps I would start a few seeds indoors as a science project with my kids. Other than that, I had no grow lights, no heat mats, nothing. It was a hit or miss thing. The seeds grew despite me. I didn't order from seed catalogs. I would go into Lowe's or the dollar store, pick up a few seeds here and there, whatever was inexpensive and easy to do. And if it turned out, it turned out. If it didn't, it wasn't a big loss. I would get to around April when the weather started to warm up and I wanted to be outside again, and then I would go to the garden centers, go to Lowe's, different places and get the bedding plants, whatever was available, and not a whole lot. I didn't spend a lot of money on annuals because I didn't have a lot of money to spend, and I didn't want to end up taking care of these plants, which ended up leggy by the middle of the summer when the heat hit. So that is my gardening experience for the most part. I've been really mainly working with perennials, with a small vegetable garden. We don't have a lot of room here to grow huge crops of vegetables, but I always wanted something where I could go out and pick a tomato when I needed one for a salad or for a sandwich, just things like that. But this past year, I learned a lot about the importance of starting seeds indoors and growing from seed if you want more varieties and if you want different things to grow. And by that, I'm not necessarily talking about vegetables. I'm more aiming toward the flower aspect of gardening. So I've learned that if you want a variety of cut flowers, different flowers, first of all, you can't depend only on perennials. You have to plant annuals. And in order to do that, you can't depend on the garden centers because they will have very limited, and also the majority of what they're selling, I believe, is for containers. So they're not going to get, you're not going to get your tall stems, and you're not going to get the varieties that you're looking for. So you have to start from seed. Now, every year I always did planted sunflowers, zinnias. They're very easy to grow from seed, and I always started them outside after the last frost, mid-May, and even sometimes before then I would have volunteers, plants that would come up from the previous year's sunflowers or marigolds. They volunteered for me, and I don't think I've ever had zinnias. Some other plants that I have, columbine, things that I would self-sow, and they'd winter over and then they'd come back in a different spot in the yard. Anyway, this year I've learned that flowers have different times that they need to be planted. Some you need to start indoors. And if you're going to do that, you need to have, I would say you need to have some sort of grow lights, and they don't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be a big setup, but if you're going to do it, it would be I've learned it's a good thing to invest in, and maybe a heat mat here or there. If you don't have, some people stick their trays on radiators or on top of the refrigerator to just get that germination going. You can get heat mats on Amazon for under $20, I think is what I spent on mine. But anyway, I don't want to keep going on and on about that. I think that's enough said. I just wanted to show you what direction I'm headed in. And if you haven't gotten seeds, you might want to check into ordering now, because some of these things, and when I get back from Florida in a week, I'm going to be doing winter sowing. I'm going to be sowing a few seeds that need to be started in January. They need a longer time to grow. And then once February hits, I'm going to be starting more seeds indoors. March, some of these things can be planted outside. And those are called cool flowers. And if you're not familiar with the book Cool Flowers from Lisa Mason Ziegler, I heartily recommend it. I'd show you my copy, but my copy is on my Kindle because I couldn't wait the 2 days for Amazon to get it to me. I wanted instant gratification to read the book. So eventually I will order a hard copy of that, but I've learned a great deal just from reading that book on the way that flowers and certain cool weather plants and what they like, when they like to be planted. So I got that book back in, I think August or September of last year, and I realized there's some flowers that should be planted in fall to get established, and then they live through the winter just under the snow or in the cold, and then they sprout right up as soon as the weather is happy for them in April, and they're your first spring bloomers. So I placed an order with Johnny's Seeds, which I was even familiar with that, and I wanted to show you their catalog they sent me here. And they have a huge selection of seeds. Obviously, this is like a pretty thick catalog here. They have vegetables, they have everything that you could probably want if you're doing all aspects of gardening. One thing that I thought they were a little pricier. Now, seeds aren't by general expensive, but when you're just starting out and when you want a huge variety of things, you could easily spend a few $100s just on seeds. So I think I spent maybe 50 or 60 on that initial order. I got some Lisianthus flowers, larkspur, Amy. Trying to think what else I planted. I did plant some bachelor buttons in September. All these, I didn't plant the Lisianthus them, but those things, those cool flowers, seeds, I did plant them after I got them in September. I just wanted to show you what their seed packet looks like before I go on to my favorite seed company so far. So this would be a Johnny seed packet. Simple, plain, but it does have a wealth of information. It tells you when to plant, what to plant, where to plant. Obviously it tells you what to plant because it's on the seed packet, but light soil requirements, spacing, all the normal things you would find on a seed packet, but I do think it goes into a little bit more detail for the gardener to be able to plan. So this is what Johnny's seeds look like. Now, they had no special deals. There was no free shipping. In fact, their catalog here says free shipping on orders over $200. Well, I didn't have that big of an order to get the free shipping. So if you're interested in things like that, I think the best place that I found, and obviously I am no expert on this, but what I found was Botanical Interests. And their seed catalog is lovely, and you can, now I didn't even wait till I got the seed catalog when I placed my order. As soon as the catalog came online, which you can go on their website and see a virtual copy of the catalog, I placed my order because there was a very interesting, it says 35% off your next order, and there's a code in here, and you don't need the print copy of the catalog in order to get the discount. So their seeds, I felt, were less expensive per packet, but also with the 35% off, and then on top of that they have what's called packet points, where whatever you spend, you get points toward free seeds. And so I placed my main order with Botanical Interests. And I'll tell you as well, what really drew me to them is, let me find, is just their seed packets. I think they are lovely, that they just attract me to me, and I know it's silly, but they are have a lot of, not only of beautiful pictures, but they do have a lot of information, not only on the back, but when you open it. Let me find one that is open. I have one right here. Hold on, I'm sorry. I did have one right here. Yes, here it is. So they have the information on the back, but you can also open it and they have more information on the inside. And sometimes they have recipes of what to use the item for. It's just very user-friendly for the simple gardener who just is excited about growing things. And so this eucalyptus was $4.99 for 25 seeds. This stock was $1.89 and 100 milligrams of seed. There's plenty in here. So their prices range from under $2 up to like $4.99 for something a little bit more uncommon. But I think for my sake, I was able to get a lot more variety of seeds and that were affordable to me. And with my points that I earned, I was able to then get a whole nother order of seeds, and I think I did that around Black Friday or Christmas when they were doing free shipping. So it was more economical for me to go with Botanical Interests, and I do like the look of their packets. Now, for those diehard gardeners out there who are saying, who cares, lady? What really matters are the seeds going to germinate and come up. So we'll see. I have planted, but last year I planted actually a coxcomb that was from Botanical Interest that I had just picked up at my neighborhood nursery just by happenstance. And they grew despite my inexperience, and they turned out very lovely. So for my little experience with Botanical Interest, they did germinate, they did grow, but we'll see this year. Anyway, that's enough talking on my point. Well, I did want to say one more thing. Another thing with Botanical Interest and any of these sites, there's so much free education that you can gain. And even Botanical Interest has sheets you can print out. Here's seed starting guides. Here is a calendar that not a calendar per se, but a listing that you can do. There's many resources available. Their catalog is just, while it's a catalog, it's also to me a magazine, a gardening magazine that has much information in it as well. and it's also just a pleasure to look at and see all the interesting things. So when I get back from Florida, this is my seed, I don't know if you can see this, my seed box that I'm working on organizing. When we get back, I am going to be doing winter sowing, which if you go on YouTube and just type in winter sowing, you will get a number of videos on that. That's where I've learned it. So it's just simply doing in milk jugs and putting things out. Now you can't do, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. What you can and can't do, you can try anything. I once heard a gardener say that her garden was her laboratory. And if you look at it that way, then you don't make any mistakes. There's no mess ups. You just enjoy gardening and you enjoy the adventure of it and the learning experience that it is. But we will be doing winter sowing, and then there's a few things that I'm going to actually start indoors. One is the eucalyptus, and then lizyanthus. If you're not familiar with lizyanthus, I have actually gotten that. Down in Lancaster is a garden center, a Mennonite-run garden center, and they have lizyanthus that you can get in I think it was a 6-pack, and I've planted it the last few years, not even understanding fully what it is, but it is absolutely beautiful. And it's, just look up a picture of it and you'll see how lovely of a cut flower it is. And in fact, if you go on YouTube, and if you're not familiar with Garden Answer, she just planted her, or started her lizyanthus, and she has lovely pictures. She is so good, Laura, with Garden Answer. She is one of the people that I follow on YouTube. Very familiar. I'm sure you've all learned about her long before I started watching her videos. And then there's another gal who's only maybe an hour south of me. She lives in the Lancaster area. Her name is Danielle, and her site on YouTube is North Lawn Flower Farms. She is very good. With her, she's in my zone and has similar growing conditions. She doesn't have as many videos as Garden Answer, but she is very good too. She is a very good teacher, very helpful. So those are the two sites that I check regularly each day as I have time, and that I've learned the most with over the last year since I've started really being in tune with YouTube and watching the videos and such. Anyway, that's enough talking from me. Go sit down with a cup of hot chocolate or tea, get online, or if you have the seed catalogs already, look through them, enjoy this time of year and picking out your seeds and finding some things to grow that are unusual for this year, that you've never tried before. And just get a jump start on the season, and we'll jump in with both feet when we get back. So have a great day and enjoy January. Bye.